Junker Queen has come to Overwatch 2. She's the newest tank. Finally, not another DPS. Soldier was great, but we need some new tanks and supports, let's be honest. So this is what she looks like. Caught in 4K. She's from Junkertown, the same place as Junkrat and Roadhog, and her primary fire is actually very similar to Roadhog. It's a shotgun, it's got 6 bullets, and it only takes 1 clip to reload. 1 magazine, one clip. It's 1 reload. The only damage I could find for this was 80. Obviously, it depends how close you are and how much the bullets spread, but overall, it's around 80 is the average. Her secondary fire is a throwing knife that if it hits the enemy, you can pull towards you and it will pull the enemy with it. But if you do miss the knife, as you pull it back, if it hits the enemy, it will still damage them. That'll do 80 damage on impact as well as 15 wound damage. What is wound damage? I'll explain after the abilities. It's OP. Her melee is also the throwing knife and it'll do a little bit extra damage than the normal melee. Plus it does wound damage as well. That is a little broken. I think that's a bit unfair. Another ability is you can swing your axe. It'll take a little bit to swing. It's quite like a big delay, but once it does hit, it does a lot of damage. It does 90 damage to be specific, and it'll do 55 wound damage. Commanding Shout will give your allies an extra 100 HP as well as a speed boost. This speed boost does apply to you as well, but instead of 100 HP, you will get 200 HP. You might think it's a little strong to get an extra 200 HP as a tank, but you have to remember, Junker Queen has the lowest health of all of the tanks, which will come into play when I explain wound damage, but we'll get there, Her ultimate is called Rampage. Cool name. It will send you flying forward a bit like Reinhardt, but this time with the axe spinning around. Again, this does do wound damage, 100 to be specific. All these abilities we've talked about, they all do impact damage and wound damage. I bet you're thinking already, this is quite a lot of abilities, so what could wound damage be that can possibly make this hero any better? And I bet you're also thinking she sounds more like a DPS. That might be true, but her aggressive play would keep her from becoming a DPS, as she's going to be the main one pushing forward, pushing into that enemy team and letting DPS get easy picks. Just before I tell you about wound damage, guys, real quick, like, subscribe, I would appreciate it. It boosts the video out. Maybe I can do it full time. Thank you very much, boys, and back to the video. So wound damage, what is it? Well, it's her passive and it lets her heal. Not all of her attacks will heal her, but pretty much every single one except for the shotgun will heal her. That means the throwing knife will heal her melee damage will heal her, swinging her axe will heal her, and her ultimate will heal her. How does it work? So let's say it's the ultimate. You do 100 damage to all those enemies you hit and it will give you 100 heals back. And for the axe that you swing, that does 55 wound damage. So over time, the enemy will be damaged 55. As that enemy is getting damaged for 55, you're getting healed for 55. Now, I do want to point out that this is for every single melee damage that you do. That basically means for every single attack you give, except for your primary fire, you'll be getting some heals back. That does include that if you do throw the throwing knife and it misses, once you recall it, if it hits an enemy going past, that is wound damage. Now that you know all of her abilities, her playstyle, and the fact that she can heal on almost every single attack, do you think this is a hero that's OP? Do you think she's balanced? Look, I haven't had a chance to play yet because I'm not in the Overwatch 2 beta. I haven't pre-ordered it because it's basically Overwatch 1. And they are saying that they're going to replace Overwatch 1 with Overwatch 2, but it's a bit complicated. Basically, 5v5 is the new Overwatch competitive scene. But Junker Queen, I just think she's a little too strong. Definitely nerf incoming, unless all the pros maybe just think she's fine. Unlike Apex and Respawn, Overwatch and Blizzard do seem to listen to not just the pros, but also the general community. So maybe if everyone thinks she's too OP, they might nerf her, or if the pros think she's fine and the community thinks she's OP, the community outweigh the pros, so perhaps we do see a nerf. It's all up for debate, but right now, get that Overwatch 2 beta, hop in a game because I can imagine she's quite a lot of fun, and fingers crossed I get to play before I put this video out, get some footage. Thanks for watching, boys. It's been James Flux for all your gaming news in one place. Like, subscribe. Thank you very much, and in a bit.